Oh, welcome back to another exciting episode of Living Tal'Dorei. We are without Womble this evening, and Vizier has left us moments of silence. That's enough. Right. Don't know who he is anymore, so he's gone. So last week, the climax of a series of events. Dyson Brandt, your erstwhile patron and a patron of the city and a philanthropist, had turned out to be somebody who really wished to destroy this land. It was a tense battle. He had summoned creatures from the plane, elemental plane of fire, including a fire dragon, a red dragon, but more worryingly, there was a large mobile fire beast, a fire kraken, which had been seen in dreams by Dak. It was a fortuitous event. The protectors of the city, some of the Council of Tal'Dorei, had been watching on and flying in on Alora's new flying carpet. They managed to break the force field around the Thordax crater, which had been created to keep outside out and to destroy the potential saviors of the city. However, Sir Bazir had not followed the plan of Dyson Brandt and had disposed of his erstwhile weapon, Nightbane. And so the Waffle House was spared a meteoric fireball and so survived much of the encounter. After some considerable dismay, they managed to close Thordax crater with the help of a half-orc by the name of
Brick,
who unknowingly threw the staff into the maw of this encroaching fire kraken. This destroyed the enchantment and cut the connection to the elemental plane of fire, and the fire kraken was expelled back into its domain. We're now on the battleground in the Cloudtop district of Emon. Smoke is still in the air. People are sitting on the ground. The adventurers around who have survived are sitting on the ground, exhausted. There is a male elf in the distance, cradling a unmoving form of another elf. Her lifeless body in his arms as he looks to the heavens, and tears stream down his face. The fire creatures have disappeared now that the portal is closed. The salamanders collapse into a pile of just burning embers, and all that can be heard now are cries of pain and despair and horror as the Waffle House get their senses back. Brick has carried Womble off the bridge over the crater. Womble looks distraught and distant. In the town, you can see plumes of smoke and cries and screams. But after a few minutes, they dissipate too. The screams dissipate, the smoke is still there. And it looks like your endeavours here have prevented an uprising of elemental fire into this city, and the transportation of the elemental plane onto this land, which would have bode ill and ended the campaign. So, sitting down on the ground, you look at each other. Brick sits with you. The cries in the distance, the smoke in the air. You look at each other with a 1,000-yard stare. What does the Waffle House do?
I still can't believe that Dyson Brandt was a bad guy. I mean, I always thought he was a bit odd, but I wasn't expecting that.
Yes, we've been deeply betrayed.
Motherfucker.
Yeah, I was trying to be a bit more eloquent than that, but yeah.
Well, he's still out there.
Yeah.
And we've seen what he can do. We need to go after him. But first we need to look after ourselves. None of us are in a fit state to go anywhere right now.
I don't know where he went. He could be anywhere.
You're right, we need to take care of the here and now. Thank you for your help, by the way. It was a bit of a free-for-all, so I appreciate you mucking in and helping.
And the tiefling, who's dressed as a nature warden, addresses Brick. Brick looks up, smoke's done in his eyes, and he sees an individual who had destroyed one of his erstwhile colleagues, Arsenic the Wizard.
Tell it wasn't on purpose, but you need to get your spells under control, because that was way too far in that instance.
Sorry, what?
You blew up one of my allies right in front of me.
When?
Right at the start of the fight. Just after Dyson had thrown down all these boulders on us or whatever, I'm fighting these two giant beasts. Arsenic and the rest of the group were right next to me, and you send off some magical spell and just blew him up in front of me.
The lightning bolt that hit.
Yeah, you hit him as well. You didn't just hit him, you decimated him. He's no longer here.
I am so sorry. I had no idea. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Is Dak being genuine?
Yeah, 100%. Like, he honestly had no idea.
I'll let it slide this time, but I'll be keeping an eye on you right now.
Fair enough. If there's anything I can do to remotely try and make up for this, just let me know.
I can tell you what you can do to make up for it. I could use a drink.
That seems like a good place to start, Brick. If you're willing, I would very much like to buy you a drink.
And as you say that, there are numbers of robed individuals who you think are probably from the clerical orders who are running onto this square and trying to attend to those who've been injured. Somebody comes up to your party. She's wearing plate armor. She's of the Order of Bahamut. You recognise this, and she nods at Sir Bazir. Do you need aid?
Most of us need aid.
So
Some more than others.
So she lays on hands, and each one of you gets 10 hit points back. And as you look at her, you're sitting on the ground. She comes and gives you benediction. As you look at her, you can see there's a soft snow that starts to fall from the heavens. And you realise that tomorrow is Winter's Crest, which is the Tal'Dorei equivalent to Christmas.
Some gift to give them all, saving their city.
Well put. I like you. What's your name, my orcish friend?
You can call me Brick.
Nice to
That's
meet
what
you.
everyone's called me. I don't remember my true name.
You get a hand thrust towards you.
I shake your hand.
Nice to meet you. I'm Fabius. The old man who's doing cartwheels is Womble. And this big gentleman here is called Bazir.
Should he really be doing cartwheels in his condition?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
his way of saying he's fine.
Yeah, trust me, it's more dangerous for him not to be doing cartwheels.
He treats it like a home therapy idea of modern medicine. Doing cartwheels gets the blood flowing, gets the health back up.
Last time he stopped, he exploded.
It seems like quite a lot in your motley crew appears to do quite a lot of exploding.
Hey, I mean, we mostly get the right people. Mostly. Still, I mean, you seem quite impressive yourself. I saw you take down 2 of those lizard men. It was very impressive work.
I'm just concerned that we managed to beat them, but that dragon was something else. And whatever that beast was below the pit, in addition, was just as concerning.
I saw you take care of business. Well done. I wouldn't have even thought about throwing the staff. I would have tried and run away with it.
Yeah.
Didn't have much of a choice. I saw this giant, what I can only describe as a giant mouth, inches from my face. The first instant you do is fight back.
Well said.
Clearly it worked.
And
Yeah.
now squadrons of soldiers start to descend on the square.
They're like the nether
Captain-
guys.
And a captain of one of the arms of Emon come up to you and says, "Gents, thank you very much. I heard what you did."
I swear, officer, I'm innocent.
And he looks at you slightly askew with, "Do I know you?"
Maybe. Have you ever heard of the Waffle House? Because if you haven't, you should, because we just saved your city.
Again, I
Never
feel
heard
like
of him. Never heard of him. Is that what you are?
That's right.
Uh,
We are the Waffle House. And just behind me, there's just Bazir crouching on the floor, dry heaving, and Womble doing cartwheels and backflips.
And behind that, nothing but sheer destruction.
Oh man!
we paint a good picture.
Right. Well. Okay. Waffle House. I think we need to secure this square, so we would ask you to move off, please, if you don't mind.
Hold on.
Do we know where you are? Where your abode is here? Where you're staying?
Uh,
We need to contact you, and so we can do a report. And you can tell this gentleman's rather an official who likes to write everything down. And he gets out a scroll and a quill, and he dips it into an ink pot at his side, and you can see his fingers are covered in ink and stained with ink. He starts to write down Waffle House. Okay, so now, do you want to tell me now, or and the snow is starting to smudge his ink. We will find you later. Where are you staying?
Le Via Croc, I think it's pronounced. Yeah.
3 o'clock. Ah, yes, Marshall's place.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the one.
Okay, and he says, "I will talk to you later."
Okay, enjoy.
And he puts his scroll away, and he goes up to another group of people. And as he walks past, there is a burnt and now quickly rigor mortising body on the ground of a wizard formerly known as Arsenic. And he just steps over this person on the ground and keeps walking.
To be fair, I'm actually quite surprised there's anything left of him.
And so very quickly there's a ring of guards here, and you can tell that there'd actually be some of them have been injured, and there'd been conflict elsewhere in the city, and you are ushered out of this area, out of the Cloudtop district, and you go through the central district. Can you all see the map that's on there? Rick, can you
Yeah.
see?
Yep.
And you can see that there are fires burning, and there are roadblocks, and every once in a while you see this hole in the ground which had erupted upwards. Can you all make intelligence rolls, please?
Yeah.
And can somebody do it for Womble particularly?
I'll do it for Womble. Do you know what
Actually,
his...
can Womble make an intelligence roll? Do it for Womble with an intelligence roll.
So that's for me, and the next one's for Womble.
I
Womble
thought you got the one for a second.
1.
Womble got a 19.
A 19. Okay. So Jordan,
Yes.
as you're walking around, could you just make a dexterity roll for me, please?
16.
16. Are you are looking down one of the side streets, and you almost fall into a small crater in the ground, but you just managed to avoid it as Dak pulls you back.
Yep.
And Womble just opines, as he normally does, and goes, "Yeah, these places are probably where those funny things we saw in the sewers were, those excavations." And he's, as you know, he's very good with maps and things and memorizing things. And then he goes and looks in a window of one of the shops, which is selling pastries. And as he goes to do so, he trips and he puts his hand through the window. And pulls it back, and he says a little bit of blood dripping from his hands, but he has a pastry in his hand. Well, one way of doing it.
Yeah.
Hey, my man, pass me one.
And so he reaches his hand in. In fact, he now uses mage hand to go in, and it's mage and you get a there's a pastry there with jam, a swirl with a little bit of icing on the top, and some right on the top of it. There's some nice little shiny bits. Intelligence rolls, please, Fabius.
So intelligence.
Yeah.
10.
10, just. Okay, you realise there's bits of glass in it.
I proceed to carefully pick out the glasses of the
Okay.
shards of glass.
Okay. And you both start munching on these things, and the most people have disappeared off the street at the moment because of what's transpired here. And shops are closed. Some have shutters on, some didn't have time to do that. And you make your way down to the port of Emon, where Levia Croc is. Bazir wants to walk past the orphanage, and you can see that it's completely collapsed. And he takes a knee in front of it, and he looks at you all and says, "Good. This is going to cost more."
Yeah, I mean,
And you
now
agreed to help.
that we
Yeah.
did. And now we can create that pool room you always wanted the kids to have.
And he stands up and picks up a piece of rotten and burnt wood, looks at it and just tosses it over his shoulder. Well, I still have a lot to do.
It's going to take some time.
I will go back to Bahamut's temple. I have a feeling I will be needed there. I will see you all later. And he
Okay.
goes northwards towards the temple district without looking back. Womble reaches out a hand, and Bahamut looks. Bazir looks
I
back.
knew it!
Fizban, no. But Bazir looks back and says, Womble, my husband, I have other paths I need to follow, but you'll always be close to me. And Womble shrugs and takes another bite of his pastry and says, see you later, big boy. And you go back down to the port of Emon, and you go to the Via Crook. The door is closed, and you bang on it, and Marshall opens it behind on a chain and goes, "Yes, you're back. Come on."
Yeah,
in.
we fixed it. We want a drink.
Come in, come. And you walk into the Via Crook, and it is empty. The Rolling Stones are not there. In fact, you haven't seen them since the battle at the Cloudtop District. You certainly didn't see them afterwards. And you sit down. Gladys comes up to you. Now, for Brick, this is the tavern where the players have been staying. It is run by a slightly portly man constantly wearing a white pinny, which is always dirty. And he has on his, as you come in, you see, which is slightly alarming, he has a rat on his shoulder, which he's constantly talking to and scratching under its chin, and every once in a while he'll feed it a little tidbit. And you almost feel that this rat is talking back.
Oh my god, is this a Ratatouille situation?
I hadn't thought about that, but that was there are 3 serving girls here. 2 are humans. There's one blonde and one brunette who are, by human standards, very attractive. And there is a dwarf serving girl there with a long, luscious beard, red beard with bows in it, who looks you up and down. "Hey, laddie, you with the Waffle House? I'm Gladys. Do you want a drink?"
I think we could all do with a drink, but I don't drink ale. Just give me some water, please.
That doesn't apply to the rest of us.
Okay. What? Yeah. Oh, have you been done like them? And she reaches for your crotch. What are you going to do?
I'm going to push her hand away.
Okay, could you make a dexterity roll for me, please?
Oh, Jesus. 14.
Okay, you push her hand away, but not before she grabs meat and 2 veg. I'll be talking to you later. You're hanging around with a load of half men, if you know what I'm saying. And she goes back to the bar, and she brings a pitcher of ale and pours ale to all of you, and a tankard of lukewarm water is given to you, Brick.
Well, there we go. Cheers to Brick, the saviour of our team and the city.
I wouldn't quite say it. I wouldn't quite say it was only saviour. However, my biggest question would be if Dyson said he was paying all of us for all of our hard work, and we've saved the city. Who's paying us now?
Yeah, we're probably not getting paid. Situations like this tend to be thankless work. I mean, when the city guard comes back to us, the bureaucrat, we might be able to, pressure him for some reimbursement of our effort, but it won't be with the sort of money that Dyson was talking about, I don't think.
Any money's good money. I'll have a word with him when I next see him.
Damn straight. I'm not getting not paid for saving a bloody city.
I'm just saying I wouldn't hold your breath.
And as you're talking, you realise that Gladys is standing behind Brick, and her hand is on his shoulder. And here she is tracing the muscles of your upper back and your upper arms. What's your name?
I'm Brick.
Brick? That's a lovely name. I'm Gladys. Are you looking for some entertainment tonight? And
No,
you can tell she's trying to put on some graces and airs.
I mean, Blick. What am I talking about? I can't even speak myself.
Already
So
distracted.
there wasn't any alcohol in that water.
I know, right? I haven't even had any myself. No, Brick's not, clearly not interested. He's not only that, he's absolutely exhausted from the fight still, and he just sort of.
Could you make a wisdom saving throw for me, please?
Okay,
Yeah,
there we go.
I don't think you're going to get a choice.
I don't think I am. I'm 14.
And Womble looks up, and as he looks up, you can see him smile, and he mumbles under his breath, and there's a slight flash, and Gladys looks at him and scowls, and you realise that an incantation has been foiled. And the Womble goes back to his ale. Well, you can perhaps do it the old-fashioned way. I can give you my room key if you want.
Oh man, I think
Have a couple more glasses of water and see what you think. Could you make a nature or medicine roll for me, please?
yeah. Let me just have a look.
Either one or the other.
Oh yeah. Well, there you go. Medicine. 18.
18. So which one did you do? Medicine or
Medicine.
you
Yeah.
did the medicine roll? Okay. It doesn't taste quite like water. You think there's a slight tang in it, which is. Has Brick actually drunk alcohol before?
Yeah. He just doesn't. He sort of doesn't choose to drink.
Okay. Well, there's a slight alcoholic taint to it.
Are you sure this is just water?
Oh, it's water with some of my Gladys's special accompaniments. And she skips off. And as she does, she just traces her finger under your chin and on one of your tusks and just traces around it. Under your upper lip, pulls it back and lets it go, and it flops down and runs off. She's tried to seduce all of you now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Brick, sorry about that. We've got to tell you, we're all eunuchs.
Yeah, we probably should have warned you about that one. She's a handful.
And Gladys says, I heard that. He's a handful. So you sit there and you have your ale, and food is brought to you. It's a stew. It's a fish stew. As you know, you're near the port, and seafood is very commonly on the menu here. And it is, after today's travails, it is welcome. And you consume your food and talk amongst yourselves. Do you wish to introduce yourself to Brick, or should we just assume that as has happened, you sort of say who you are and what you are and things? Or do you want to RP it?
I could do a little bit, I guess.
Okay.
If people just want to ask questions, or I'll tell you if I've got them written down. I don't know if I've done another backstory.
Well, it doesn't need to be too probing. We can just keep it sort of surface level.
Well, big man, how did you end up working for Dyson Brandt then?
I didn't have much of a choice. I was short on coins. Arsenic himself came up to me and asked if he was looking for extra muscle to obtain an artifact just outside Amon in some cavern. I agreed to it. Promise of gold. Naturally, you'd agree to it, and here I am. How come you guys didn't have your artifact though?
Well, that's
We were smart.
it's a funny story. We were given our artifact by Dyson, and then, quite literally, a god destroyed it. Apparently.
A god destroyed it.
Yeah, you know, there's that platinum dragon which everyone goes on about. Yeah, apparently he destroyed the sword.
And this dragon's real?
Appa-
Well,
So I've been told.
we just got lucky that the fellow that ended up being given the artifact went all a bit holy all of a sudden, and he obviously rubbed up the god the right way, and it did us a favor. Yeah, that's it's a weird mess. To be honest, I thought we'd really screwed something up at first, but as it turned out, it kind of worked out for the best.
Yeah, that reminds me. I think we all owe Baz an apology and maybe a donation towards his brand new orphanage.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking about that. I kind of feel bad for taking the piss as bad as I did.
So yeah, I think once we get paid, we should give a donation towards this orphanage. But I'm going to say, while Baz is not here, we need to invest it in something which isn't candy.
Yeah. And I don't know. Do you guys remember? Does Baz know how to cook? Because if not, he's going to need a cook.
You don't need that high of a turnover in an orphanage.
No, not the children. I mean, to feed the children, unless he's just going to provide them sweets and, or if Fabius has anything to do with it, bread for the rest of their lives.
With you cooking, it's the same outcome.
It's not that bad when I cook. You're all still alive. I haven't killed any of you, so it can't have been that bad.
No, I will agree, it's not that bad. There's only one flavour, and it's burnt.
And that's the best flavour.
I mean, if you like charcoal, I suppose.
I do. Fair point. You know, my tastes are perhaps a little more unique than the rest of you. So,
Tasteless.
yeah. So I was just thinking that, you know, maybe Baz would want to save the children from having the same issue if Baz also cannot cook, according to you guys.
So you finish your meal and the evening draws on. There is no bard playing tonight, and the whole tavern is subdued. The few people who are there are in their cups or keeping themselves to themselves. You look over into the corner where you were used to seeing the band of dwarves sitting by the roaring fire, drinking ale and insulting you, and the place looks strangely deserted.
I hope those guys are okay.
I didn't see them. I think they were on the other side of the pit. That's all right. They're tough buggers. Those bloody dwarves. I'm sure sure they made it.
And you finish your evening. Unless you want to do anything else, you go up to the rooms that you have and sleep. Are you going to put any guards up? Womble decides to put up. He wants you all in one room again, and after he's bundled you in, you can see him reading his book with all his drawings in and stickmen, and he goes around the room with a silver wire, attaches it to a bell, tings it, and goes, now we'll sleep better. And he goes and lies down and goes to sleep. And in his sleep, you just hear him say, Baz, Baz, Baz. And in his sleep, there's a single tear drips down his face. You can see this madman has a heart, which you have not seen really. And the rest of you, do you sleep or
I
drink?
definitely sleep like a log.
So Brick just crashes onto the floor in his armour and sleeps the sleep of the dead. Half-orcs are resilient this way, and very quickly he is snoring loudly. The extra alcohol in his cup added by Gladys, has helped him sleep the sleep of the dead.
As I owe this half orc a favour, I will stay up slightly to make sure Gladys does not try and abduct him in the night.
Okay.
Do appreciate that, mate. Thank you.
And Dak, you fall asleep, and your sleep is troubled by burning eyes looking at you, looking for you. Could you make a stealth roll for me, please?
Sure. Stealth. 7.
So you're on a burning landscape. There are rivers of lava flowing in the distance. You see mountains spewing smoke into the air, and there's a hill a mile away which starts to rise on tentacled legs. A fiery eye rises out of it on a stalk, pans the horizon and sees you, and you wake up in a cold sweat.
Damn it.
And you go back to sleep again, and you know that you have been marked, and this creature is still alive somewhere. Jordan, you fall asleep very rapidly. In your sleep, you feel a small hand in yours, which gives you reassurance, and you sleep knowing that you're safe. Fabius.
First time in a while.
Sorry?
First time in a while.
First time in a while. Fabius, you stay awake longer. You hear a scratching at the door and a click as the door opens. And you see, looking in, a bearded face. Hasn't come in. And you see her as she sees you.
Evening.
Oh, just checking on you.
Oh, good. I appreciate the extra service. It's why we come back here.
Okay. And you can say she looks disappointed, and she closes the door, locks it, and you can hear footsteps walking away.
I'm going to take one of my spare caltrops and I'm just going to lightly hammer it into the bottom of the door.
Okay. The snow has stopped, and there is a bright moon, and you can even see some of the distant red moon as well. And you look out onto the street outside, and it is quiet, and the city seems to be holding its breath. And as you look out, there's and looking back at you, there is a pair of black eyes on a raven, pecks a window, looks at you and flies off. Silently into the night.
I was going to look out the window.
Make a perception roll.
Perception. 28. Jesus.
28. It is night time. It is dark. There are some street illuminations, but what you do see a couple of sailors in their cups who are asleep at the side of the road. You know that they are going to awaken in the morning with sore heads, perhaps a bout of pneumonia, and without any coin in their pouch. But people make their choices in life. There's nothing else to see out there. The roof lines are clear. The raven is not to be seen.
I'll wait another 10 minutes to make sure that she doesn't come back, and then I will sleep.
Okay, and you sleep. You sleep a disturbed sleep as well. You see the raven looking at you. There's a message there somewhere, and you can't see it. Morning! Time to break your fast. And there's a hammering on the door as Marshall unlocks the door and opens it. Ding, 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 ding! And the alarm spell goes off. And Womble jumps awake. And this is a cacophony of noise, of like a pealing church bells from this tiny little thing as the spell is triggered. And Marshall steps back. Oh, my lords, what is that?
What?
Breakfast is served. And he's holding his ears, and he closes the door and runs off. You can hear him muttering to himself. And the alarm spell then triggered wakes you all out of your sleep with a jolt. And you have a new day. It is cold. There was a mist coming in off the sea, which is shrouding the port area of Emon.
Breakfast then.
Oh, my ears. Oh, God. That's like two people fighting each other inside a bell inside my ear.
And you can see Womble cackling silently to himself. And when Ben listens to this, I know he's going to be cackling silently to himself. And you get up and you go down the stairs to break your fast. Marshall is there. Gladys is not. And one of the serving girls is there. She's got bags under her eyes, and she offers you bread and cheese for breakfast, and a pitcher of lukewarm water. And the day's yours.
Very good.
Oh, okay.
Stupid question, guys. Just real quick. That counts as a long rest. So that resets everything.
That's a
doesn't
long
it?
rest. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
No, I was probably saying something really obvious there, but just want to make sure before I go and change
that's fine.
everything.
No, that's fine. That's a long rest.
Super.
And you're covered in bruises, but you feel refreshed after that. Dak, you still feel tired. You are disturbed from your night's sleep.
Yeah, guys. Remember, I said when we had that sort of week's rest that I'd gone out into the forest and I had a weird dream that I wasn't quite so sure was a dream. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah, vaguely.
Yeah. Well, the thing I saw in that dream was the octopus fire thing that we killed yesterday. But I don't know if it means anything, but I dreamt about it again last night, and I'm not so sure that we killed it, if you know what I mean.
Can somebody make an Arcana roll for me, please?
Womble
Anybody
did it.
who has Arcana as a expertise, as a skill.
That rules me out.
Well, Dak
Yeah,
does, but
so-
that doesn't really help.
I guess Womble then, isn't it?
Womble, can somebody roll for?
Just
okay.
Womble, I think.
Can somebody roll a d20 for Womble, please?
I will roll a d20 for Womble. 10 on the
10,
button.
plus 4, 14. Okay, so he's not so sure about this. Well, maybe it's its sister.
It could mean nothing. It could be that it was just fresh on my mind after dealing with it, but it's just, I just wanted to put it out there, just not so much as a warning, but just so that I can feel comfortable that I've said it.
I mean, do you know what this thing is?
I haven't a clue, but it scares the crap out of me.
Well,
And you saw, this is the thing that you saw at the coming through the portal.
Yeah,
And
it's
bringing
definitely
the elemental plane of fire with it.
it's definitely what was trying to come out through that pit.
Well, let's hope if it is that or its son, its daughter, its wife, whatever we want to call it. We've just got to hope that there's another handy staff in the middle of a open pit that we can use.
I can't help but worry that Dyson tried it once. He failed, thankfully, because we were there. But if he tries it again and no one knows about it, he might succeed.
And as you're talking, a cloaked figure comes in, wearing a black cloak, black robe, hood up, with a pale alabaster mask, and silently walks up to your table. You can see black feathers around the hood.
Hi.
And I am looking for Fabius of Westrun.
Yes, I thought you would. I think I saw your messenger last night. I am Fabius.
The Chosen wishes to see you.
Very well. Do I have to come alone, or can I bring people with me?
You can do what you will. Maybe you wish to bring your friends with you.
Yes, I would like to bring my friends with me.
Okay, so I will see you at the temple in the cemetery district.
Very well.
Could you just make an insight roll for me?
Yes, I can. Oh, natural 20.
Nice.
You can tell that this person is trying their best to sound a little bit mysterious and is not quite doing it properly. And they're obviously a messenger, obviously a younger acolyte from this temple, and they've been sent, and they're trying out their mysterious type line, and it's not really worked on you. You can see through that.
I appreciate what you're doing, but let me give you a bit of advice. If you deepen your voice by 2 octaves, it really gives a more intimidating presence.
But we will see you at the... And you realise it's actually quite a young man whose voice hasn't quite broken yet, so he's really struggling with it. We will see you at the temple in the cemetery district.
See, that's the voice I wouldn't want to hear on a dark night.
And he turns round, and you've sort of befuddled him, and he's slightly discombobulated. And as he turns round to leave, he trips over his feet a little bit and falls forward. You can try and catch him if you wish.
Yeah, go on. I'll grab the back of his shirt to stop him falling over.
Make a dexterity roll.
Dexterity or sleight of hand?
Dexterity roll.
Dexterity. 10.
10. That's enough. You managed to stop him from falling on the floor, making a complete fool of himself. And he stands up and brushes himself down. Thank you, Fabius of Westrun. Sorry. Thank you, Fabius of Westrun.
You're welcome.
And you can see he's struggling with the voice, and he walks out, and this sort of, you realise that he's very unsure of himself, and you watch as he sort of, as soon as he leaves the inn, you look out the window, and you can see him scarper away. He lifts up his robes, and he just runs away through the wet, sodden streets northwards towards the cemetery district.
Okay.
Well, let's hope he doesn't attempt that. Just try and do that voice while his voice breaks.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we should have guessed, really. I mean, a dark, shadowy figure. I mean, it had to be for Fabius, really, didn't it?
I'm insulted by the claims. However, you're right. You know, I told you that I've been followed by ravens. Well,
Yeah.
I put together that this is probably what it's about. I've already died once, and I think someone wants a word with me.
Fair enough. Well, accompany you if you like.
That would be nice.
Sure.
So the breakfast is plain but nourishing. The water is plain, but it goes down well. Womble actually asks for a cup of tea, and he asked for a couple of different flavours to choose from, and so he bought several different teapots, and he tries each individual one, and he swirls them around and tries them all, and he settles on one, which is a teapot with a red rosy design on the outside, and he looks at that and picks up the teapot and inspects it, puts it down, and drinks the tea, and then after halfway through the cup he puts a little bit of milk in it and a bit more, and pours it out and he just puts the black tea in. Very nice. Oh, are we doing something?
Hello,
Yeah.
Womble. How would you fancy going to a horrible dark place full of scary people?
It's what we do, isn't it? Can I cast
to me.
Fireball?
No.
And you can see some flames starting to appear at his fingertips. And you can see he's playing this little flame in his hand, which puffs out.
I would hold off on the fireballs until you think it's appropriate, and think very carefully on when you think it's appropriate. I can't stress enough
Is
when
this appropriate?
it's appropriate. No, it's not. I'll tell you what, Dak,
Yeah.
tell Womble when it's appropriate.
Oh, okay. So like, if I do something big, you can do something big.
Can I just add that if he did attempt just to do another little fireball, and I just put it out with my fingers like a little matchstick.
You just
Yeah.
Like
this
lick my
was-
fingers and
this
put it
was
out like a
sm- it was
matchstick.
There was a small flame in his hand, which was literally the size of a candle flame, and it was basically, if you imagine his thumb sticking in the air and he had a fist and his thumb sticking in the air, there was a little flame on top of that, and you just pinch it out, and Womble just looks at his thumb, and he makes another one appear. So he points his finger at it, another little flame appears on it again,
Oh Jesus!
and he looks at it, and he points it in front of you.
In front of me.
And then he takes his other hand and he puts it over his thumb and the flame goes out. And then he puts it behind your ear and he pulls a flame from behind your ear. Now, does Womble have sleight of hand skill? I don't think he does he? 12. Brick, do you have hair?
Oh yeah, I do.
Okay, unfortunately, some of your hair catches fire, and Womble quickly pats you on the side of the head and puts it out. I'm just working on that one. Yeah,
Well,
have some tea, and he offers you a little ceramic bowl of tea.
I guess I was due for a haircut.
So basically, the hair by your right ear is singed and curled. I mean, it was singed yesterday anyway.
Oh, yeah,
but it's been singed
definitely.
even more. And,
Careful,
and that's that burnt hair smell that fills the room slightly. And Womble just sort of waves his hand in the air a little bit and goes, ha 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 ha! And that smell just changes into lemon drops. Oh, I missed having a wizard.
Yeah.
I can tell.
So,
great, isn't it?
you talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to keep doing this all day.
Oh, Jesus. I'm sorry, Brick. I forgot. Have you got people to get back to? Or you're welcome to join us as we go to Pretty Morose Temple full of angry-looking nuns.
I'll join you guys. I haven't got anything else to do at the moment anyway, and I think it's only fair that we all at least attempt to try and get some benefit from our troubles.
Brick, you remember from the day before, the last of your party you saw had been turned into a incinerated person on the ground. The rest had been blown up by one of these boulders coming out of the pit, out of the crater. So your erstwhile party is no more.
Yeah. Well, there's no one else to go with at the moment, and again, I think it's only fair that we try and get some reward for our troubles. And whoever that individual was, despite them trying to seem intimidating, they weren't. I do have concerns about what you were saying about dying once.
Oh, so I forget. I feel as though you've been with us for ages now. Do you remember earlier in the year the crater was stopped expanding? Well, that was us. But in closing or stopping the expansion, I may have died.
That was
bit.
actually out of the town. That was outside of the town.
Yeah, it was in Forlax Crater, wasn't it?
No,
No.
that was at the Scar, which is
Ah.
about a day's travel outside of the town.
There we go. I clarify that.
Yeah, he died a bit, and then we got him back, and we're not sure we got him back the way he was because he's been a bit even weirder than Fabius usually is since.
Oh. Thanks.
So, I'm just messing with you.
Yes. Needless to say, I think someone up there might have plans for me. Because they keep sending her, I think it's her, messages after me. I think I've been ignoring it for long enough.
Well, let's just hope it's up and not down, because I've got a sinking feeling the person interested in me is down.
Well, maybe we can take care of both at one go. They might know more than we do.
Well, we'll see.
Okay. So you finish your breakfast, and what are you going to do?
I think we should head to... quick question, DM. Raven Queen Cemetery District or Temple District?
Cemetery District, that's where their temple was. The previous temple had been destroyed and hadn't been rebuilt yet, so they had a makeshift one in the Cemetery District, if you remember.
I am going to go to the Cemetery District then.
Okay. And you all go with him. You walk along the street. The city is trying to get itself back on its feet again after the attack from the previous day. People are still slightly shell-shocked. The horror has come back to haunt them, but it is Winter's Crest, and children are running in the street. There is snow on the ground, and they are children are very resilient to horrors, and they are laughing and playing, and even some of the gutter snipes you've seen before seem to be laughing and playing, and you hear the occasional "Ooh, Dragon Man" and "Sweeties."
Quick question, DM. How heavy are some of these kids starting to look?
They're still looking very scrawny, very skinny, malnourished. And you can see one of them standing there with an apple in his hand, and he's not quite sure what to do with it. And in his other hand, he has a chocolate bar, and he just chucks the apple over his head and just eats a chocolate bar. And he's a young lad. He's probably about 6. He's got sort of dirty blonde hair, which is all a mess, and he's got dirt on his hands and face, and he eats his chocolate bar, and literally most of it is smeared around his face. And he laughs and runs off with his other colleagues. And so there's a little bit of joy in the air after the horror of the day before.
I'd like to try and catch the apple he throws over his shoulder with my sleight of hand.
Okay, we'll make a... That's going to work. Okay, make a sleight of hand check with disadvantage.
Okay.
Oh, so actually, it'll be a dexterity check rather than sleight of hand.
Yeah,
Sleight of hand's trying to do things on the sly. So.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Is that with normal or disadvantage?
Disadvantage dexterity check.
10, I think. Is that 10, guys?
That's
I don't know if I checked the left or right.
That's a 10, not bad.
Yeah.
That's okay. So you, when this young lad throws the apple over his head, you see Brick launch himself full length and lands with a puddle on the ground with a splash, but has this red apple in his hand, which is unmarked. He, however, is soaked and covered in mud and street grime, but has a big grin on his face.
You're hungry there?
Don't waste good food.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. That was quite a commitment to save an apple.
And then the 6-year-old turns around after he's run away and looks at you and goes, "Ha ha, funny man," and runs off. So you carry on walking to the central district. You can see, you get to the cemetery area, and you can see there is a lot of activity in here. Numbers of people have died the previous day, and they have been interned. And you can see various clerics from different factions there. And there's a young man. It's a young person in a black robe standing there. Fabulous restaurant. Fabulous restaurant. Follow me. And it's getting more and more ridiculous as he does that. And he takes you to where the temple is. And as you're walking, he goes, "How was that?"
Oh, that was really good. Just a bit deeper and it'd be perfect.
I don't think I can go any deeper than that.
Oh, well, you can only, praise your God the best you can. I'm sure she'll understand not putting the full effort in.
Don't tell the Chosen. And he scampers off. You get to... Such a git. You get to the Raven Queen temple. You do pass a destroyed mausoleum with a hole in the ground, which is being slowly repaired. And you get to this area, and outside you can see a bare winter's tree, and there are a score of ravens sitting in it. Caw, caw, caw. And as you come in, they all look at you. Caw.
I reach up one of my pockets and I pull out a rather stale half a baguette,
Yep.
and I will place it on the ground as I keep walking.
Okay, so you place, and you all walk past this, and the ravens come down, and one of them picks it up in its beak and flies off, and the others start meleeing around him to try and get parts of it. And this stale baguette sort of disintegrates, and the ravens make a short meal of it. And after a couple of minutes, it is gone. Just a few crumbs on the ground, and the ravens are back in the tree looking at you. At the temple, you see a number of the acolytes standing there. The young man who brought you there, who's not to be seen. And strangely, Rosie is there as well. So, Brick, there were these priests wearing robes, some of them in white robes, some of them in black robes. Many of them have covered faces. Those who don't, faces are very pale and serene looking, very goth-like. But there's also there a small halfling wearing leather breeches, and it's got long curly brown hair. She's got daggers at her side, and with a bit of a swagger to her, she goes, Fabius,
Yes.
we need you.
Oh, ain't that the truth?
And she ushers you in through the dark doors of this temporary temple. Inside, the light is very dim. There are torch sconces around, but they are all dimmed, and just a faint glow is coming from them. You see in the room there is a litter on the ground with a figure on it. The figure is badly burnt, and you can see the priests are around him. Fabius. And she grabs your hand and takes you towards this burnt individual. Could you make an investigation roll for me, please?
Yes, I can. 16.
16. It's your son. Badly burnt.
The usual calm demeanor is immediately broken as I'm going to immediately rush to the side.
And you realise that his body is cold. Out of the shadows comes the Chosen, gliding as if her feet aren't touching the ground. Her robes, you can't see feet, her robes are all around her. She has a porcelain mask on. Fabius, you have ignored the Raven Queen's messengers. For that, I forgive you. But your friend here, and she points to Rosie, brought this young man here who has very nearly left this life. Rosie, we have been using our skills to keep him alive. But as you know, the Raven Queen is not one, the mistress of ravens is not one to keep people alive unnecessarily. Once they have finished their cycle, she will escort them back into the other world and then to be reborn again.
Screw that. I don't care about your predestiny and selected times. I will do anything. I will give anything to keep him going.
And there's a small hand in yours, and you look down and Rosie's holding your hand. I knew you'd say that. your friend Rosie, who is very persuasive. The Mistress of Ravens would not let him return unless a suitable trade was done.
I already see where this is going.
We
And
brought your life back, and you have done good work for the city. If you wish your son to be brought back, we will do a contract.
I accept.
And the rest of you stand at the back, sort of not quite knowing what you're hearing here. There are numbers of clerics around this area. There's one who is hanging back particularly. Could you make an insight roll? Anybody's got insight skill? Does anybody have insight as a skill?
Nah.
No? Okay. All right, but there's one of the clerics is hanging back a little bit and is not joining in with the with the ceremonies that are going on in this place. And the Chosen says, we have communed with the Mistress of Ravens, and for us to bring back your son, we would need to trade his place with someone else's who is willing.
I see.
Are you willing?
May I have a moment?
You may have a moment.
And I'm going to walk back to the rest of the party.
And you see, as you do that, you see that cleric that was hanging back goes up and starts talking to the Chosen in a very animated way. And you can hear a voice start to be raised, and suddenly there's complete silence in this room. And as you know, that can happen in this room. That there's a silent spell that's cast, and the Chosen puts her finger on the face of that person who's heavily robed and a heavy hood down in front of her. And she just nods. She just actions no. So it is very silent in here. After 10 seconds, sound comes back. What do you wish to do?
So, I am going to go over to the party. And I'm going to explain, I don't know how much of that you heard and how much you understood, but you know me. And you know there was only one reason I was ever out here.
Yeah.
And the rest of you see this badly burnt figure on the on this cot. And Rosie comes in and says, after the Thordax crater exploded, there were explosions around town, and Alexis was found outside of a drain in the port of Emon, and one of our pickpockets recognised him and let me know.
Just put a hand on Rosie's shoulder and just give a very soft smile and say, "Is there ever one person I could count on?"
And when you do that, you just realise that your hands are covered in blood from where you put your hands on Alexis' chest, and basically his skin is burnt off.
I always knew if there was one thief who can have another's back, it would be you, Rosie. Thank you.
From what I hear, you guys saved the city. It's the least we can do. But I'll remember that. It's another one you owe me.
Well, it might take a while, but when you're ready, come collect.
But this is not just... This is for the Waffle House? Is that what you call yourselves now? It's a favour that you owe me. Or at least a beer.
Well, Fabius, I think we're pretty much all in agreement, if I'm not being too presumptuous, that you do what you need to do and we'll try and support you as best we can.
You know, it's funny. I felt as though I was dead ever since the dragon attacked, ever since Umbrasil destroyed my life. And yet, it's funny. It's only after joining you lot that I felt as though I was actually alive again. Please, if he does come back, let Alexei know that he is free to do what he wants, as long as he's safe. Promise me you'll tell him.
Sure.
And if they lie, you know what to do.
And Womble goes, Fireball! And his flame appears on his fingers. Yes. Fireball!
Dak's just going to put his hand on Womble's shoulder and just sort of like tap it just to calm down. And I'm just going to nod at Fabius.
And I'm just going to put an arm round Dak, Jordan, and Womble and give him a big shoulder hug.
Do I do Fireball now?
Go and do what you need to do.
And I will walk back. And I'll say,
And the Chosen is standing there serenely. Her acolytes are around her. They are not saying anything. You can see Alexis, hair burnt off, skin burnt off his face, almost the lips burnt off, looking not like the son that you knew, but you recognise him. So, Fabius of Westruun, what is your choice?
I agree. I'll do it. Whatever your mistress needs, I grant it willingly.
Okay. So another cot is brought in by two acolytes. She claps her hands, and they bring this cot in and they put it down next to Alexei. And you see this hooded figure behind saying, you can hear her saying now and whispering, "It needn't be this way." Shush, child. This is how we do it in our temple. This is the house of the Raven Queen. And you can see that this individual is fighting an emotion. Fabius of Westruun, is there anything you wish to say? Before we continue with this.
If you ever need me, truly need me, I'll be listening.
We know. And two of the acolytes lie down on this cot next to Alexis. You need to hold his hand.
So
They put his hand in yours. His hand is slick with serous fluid. And you hold it and you remember the days when he was a young boy. When you were playing in Westruun with your wife and him there. And those times that he missed you. You were working late and you didn't see him grow up. And you remember the animosity he now feels towards you. And the Chosen looks down at you now. Fabius of Westruun, are you ready?
do it.
Okay. And you can hear sobbing from that priest in the back. And she starts to mumble in a language you don't understand. Does any of you speak Celestial?
Oh, actually, I think Dak might. Yes, I do.
Okay, so you can hear her intoning the Raven Queen to come and do the trade as had been discussed previously. And there's a dirge rising from the priests around the outside, around this room. This room is about 60 feet wide. It is dark, and there's about 12 priests in heavy cloaks around the side now, black, hooded, with porcelain masks on. And a few acolytes there as well who are joining in, and they're all humming a dirge, and the air seems to undulate. Fabius, you feel a pulling from you. And the Chosen says, Fabius, are you willing?
Yes.
Okay. And a piece of material is put over your eyes, and it's put over the eyes of Alexis too, so it all goes dark for you. What are the rest of you doing whilst this is happening? Are you just watching, or are you going to intervene, or what do you wish to do?
I'm just going to observe.
Yeah, Dax
Okay.
in sort of a stunned silence at the moment.
Okay.
You just observe for me.
The sound undulates. It is dark in here, and is getting darker. The sconces, the flames and sconces get lower and lower. But despite that, it does seem, Fabius, that it gets brighter for you. You turn your head to look at Alexis. You have this cloth over your eyes, and despite that, you can see Alexis lying there. And behind him, there is a figure. A figure you recognise. A beautiful woman. A woman you loved and loved very much. Your wife. As she was when she was alive. She looks at you. She's wearing a white shroud, and there's a glow around her. And she smiles at you and holds out her hand towards you.
I smile. I smile back and I take her hand.
And you get up off the cot and you look down and you see your body is still there. The rest of you see nothing. All you just see is these two figures there lying side by side. Alexis and Fabius. Fabius, you get up and you take the hand of your wife, and you both stand there over Alexis, and you look down at him, and you both put your hands on his forehead. You run it down the side of his face, and she pulls you towards her. Behind her there is a white beacon, and she walks towards it. And you follow her, and as you do, you feel yourself being stretched and stretched and stretched. And as you do so, you feel feathers around you. Back in the room, you see Fabius stop breathing and go very still. The colour drains from his face. And Alexis takes a breath in. The skin on his face rapidly heals, including the scar that he had previously. And he takes another breath in, and he coughs. And he opens his eyes. Where am I? What am I doing here? Where am I? And he looks to his side and says, "Oh, what's he doing here? Dad, what are you doing here?" And all the priests are just standing silent now, almost like statues, apart from the one at the back who's sobbing. Dad, what are you doing here? And then he sees you guys, and he sits up, and he's bare-chested, and he looks at the rest of the party and says, "What's happening? What's going on?"
We don't know the specifics, but your dad made a choice to save you or to not, and he chose to save you.
Don't know why I bothered. Come on, Dad, what are you doing? Get up. Dad? Dad? Get up. And he looks down. What's happened? Dad? And the Chosen goes up to him and whispers in his ear. And goes, "Dad?" And this chap, you've met him before. He's full of bravado. He's a sort of late teenager, full of bravado, full of, nothing can get me down. And you see suddenly his face breaks. "Dad? Dad? 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 Daddy? Daddy? Daddy?" And he puts his arms around him. And he just bursts into tears. "Daddy, what have you done?" And I'm sorry for that. The priests pull back and they just feel as though they're alone there. "What have you done? Daddy, I love you, Daddy. Daddy, I've never told you." And his voice breaks. And he falls apart. Rosie comes up to him, puts her hand on his shoulder. "Alexei." He knew. Okay, I'm going to just take 5 minutes there.
Well, that was a bit of an emotional roller coaster part, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That got very serious.
I'm just going to get a beer. Excuse me a second.
Go for it.
No worries.
Holy moly!
What a send off.
What a tearjerker!
Yeah.
What a send off.
Did not know that was coming.
I was always on a ticking clock
Yeah.
because I never came back properly last time, if you remember correctly.
Yeah.
So cool. Yeah, for Brick, that was my character.
Yeah, I know, right?
Woo!
Well, to be fair, it's he's lasted quite a while. It could have been more awkward if if I'd joined the session and died in that first game. That would have been a very short campaign, but
That was
what a send off.
that was intense. Bravo to Mike.
Yeah.
I think that's why he's gone and got a beer.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
I think he needs it after that.
Oh, this is why I'm gutted that Womble's not here tonight.
Yeah.
You hear that, Womble? When you're listening to this tomorrow, it's your fault I'm dead.
Yeah, you better be crying.
Full on tears.
Yeah.
Like, selfish bastard couldn't even be there for my own funeral.
Yeah, you just have a fancy fiance that you have to spend your time with. You know.
So I've got my beer.
Good.
So Rosie is there holding his shoulders. He's sobbing. And he kept saying, "Daddy, I love you. I never told you. I always did. I wanted to be like you. I never thought I was good enough. Daddy." And suddenly he looks like a young child again. "What do I do? I don't know what to do."
For now, don't do anything. Just take your time.
And
I think-
the chosen stands up and says, the deed is done. Alexis, your father chose to give you your life back and traded his own. This is the most powerful magic of all. This is the magic of love. And this would never have worked unless your father loved you very, very much. Our work here is done, and we will leave you to consider these thoughts and your future. Rosie here has said she will look after you for as long as it needs. And we will honour your father, Fabius of Westron. Alexis of Westron, you have been given another chance. Don't waste it. And they fade backwards into the dark, and you are left there just with Alexis, Fabius's body, Rosie, and she is sobbing too, and you guys standing there. Outside, you hear "Ah, ah," and you look out of the door and you of this temple, and you swear there's an extra raven there now, with a passive perception of 19. And you wait for Alexis to compose himself. He doesn't want to leave, but Rosie pulls him out. The mistress, the chosen and the mistress here will look after your father well. And she puts her hand on his chest, says, he now lives here. Your father was a good man. He's made a great sacrifice. You need to live up to that. Gentlemen, and she nods at you. And she leads Alexis out into the cold winter's morning. And that now you're left standing there with the body of your colleague, serene, a smile on his face.
Alexis?
He's been taken out by Rosie. He's been led out. And then there was the priest who had been crying steps out from the shadows and comes up to you, a dark robe on, black hooded, right down over her nose. And despite that, you can see that she's got ruby red lips, and there's tears that have been pouring down her cheeks. And she comes up to Fabius, and she puts her hand on his forehead and strokes him. She kisses him on the forehead. And Dak, you hear her say in a tongue which only you understand is, this is the magic of love. The love of a parent for their child is the strongest force in this world. And she stands up and she says to the rest of you,
sorry about that. He was a very brave man.
I gather then that you knew him.
No, I'd never met him, but any person who would be willing to sacrifice themselves in that way is a hero beyond those of the legends. You should honor him.
Any father would do right by their child.
I think so too. It's very nice to meet you. I'm Emily, or you can call me Lily. Most people do.
It's very nice to meet you.
I've heard of you. You're the Waffle House, right?
Yeah.
What's left of it?
Your exploits in the Shade Barrow are infamous now in Westron. They were talking all about you when I travelled through. And shutting the crater. I mean, you're heroes. You're heroes of Tal'Dorei.
Yeah, it all seems a little tempered by recent events, but we've tried to help wherever we've gone, and I guess that's worked.
I can see this is a difficult time for you. This place is too dark for me. But come speak to me after you've paid your respects. I enjoy speaking to heroes of the realm.
I don't know if I necessarily go that far, but sure. Where will we find you?
I'll be outside. I don't like it in here. Not the same as my lord. Far too dark.
Fair enough.
And with that, you see her walk away. Quick question: is anyone shorter than 5'5"?
No.
So,
No.
No.
Cool. You
No.
see this very small figure, you estimate to be about 5'2", walk out and go up the stairs into the sunlight.
And in this room now, a number of acolytes come in wearing white. Have you said your goodbyes? We need to prepare and honour the body.
I think it'd only be fitting that we all spend a moment with him.
Yeah.
He's gone to a better place. The Raven Queen has escorted him to a place where his soul will be reborn. And his sacrifice for his son was noble and will be sung about in our hymns to the Raven Queen for many a year. Say your goodbyes, and we will prepare Fabius of Westron for his last journey.
Yeah, I'm going to go up to Fabius's body and I'm going to leave a single gold coin in his hand and say one for the road.
Okay. What are you going to do, Jordan?
I am going to go up, give him a pat on the shoulder, probably do the same as Brick and give him a gold coin in the other hand to say, get yourself a good bit of bread. Legally, this time.
Womble goes up to Fabius, reaches into his backpack and gives him a leek.
I'll need it where I'm going.
and he pats him on the cheek. You'll never get old now. Say hello to the ferryman for me. Oh! Oh! He needs a duck! He needs a duck! And he runs out of the door. Okay. Dak, what are you going to do?
I'm just going to walk up to him and just softly say that, yeah, you're right. The drink didn't get you. But Womble still believes that ferryman stuff. I'll make sure to keep that going.
Okay, you hear a eldritch blast outside.
Wait, no! What are you doing to the tree?
Oh,
And about a minute later, Womble comes in carrying a raven. I didn't have a duck, but this will do. And he puts a dead raven on his.
Imagine if it's that particular new raven.
You killed him twice.
Puts a raven on him.
Yeah.
And the acolytes look at that slightly bemused and, what have you done?
I guess these deceptions we lay eventually come back to get us. But
Okay, and I think probably not such a good idea. And one of the acolytes takes it away and sort of hides the raven from outside.
Yeah.
And then Womble just shrugs. I wish I had my bagpipes. And he starts humming Amazing Grace. And then he does a handstand.
goodbye, Fabius.
And he is wrapped in bandages. And the last thing you see, his face gets wrapped, and his eyes covered. And Fabius of Westrun is no more. And you walk out into the cold winter's morning, now afternoon. The Raven Queen acolytes take his body away to be interned. And you can see there is ceremony to this, and there is a lot of kudos given to Fabius of Westrun. And you are all slightly bereft of thought. And you wander slowly back to the Via Croc. And the children are still playing in the street, in the snow. But you don't hear them. There are market stalls which are now selling pets and animals, and you walk past, ignore them. And you go back to the Via Croc. And you sit down on a table in front of the fire. And I've silenced you all.
Good thing too, because I was bawling my eyes out.
Yeah, I was trying hard not to.
Marshall is standing at the bar. So where's what was his name? The other one. Fabius. Where's he gone? Is he out skulking again?
Yeah, you say that. Yeah.
sorry, you walk right past Lily.
So,
She followed. She followed you back to the Via Crook, and she walks in. This robed figure walks in.
you see that she switched to a white robe from
White
the black
robe.
ones that
Okay.
all the followers of the Raven Queen were wearing. Said, "Ah, there you are. You kind of left me there. I thought you said we were going to speak."
Oh, sorry.
No, it's my fault. I know it's a very tough time for you. I'm sure you seemed very close.
Yeah, we. I suppose we weren't actually together all that long, as life goes, but it was intense to say the least.
The life of adventurers is often a candle burns twice as bright for half as long. But his light will join with the others, and soon the darkness which surrounds this nation will be gone.
Yeah,
May I join you?
Sure.
I didn't get a chance to meet you properly. I'm Emily Feldarius, cleric of Palor, or the Dawnfather, as you may know him.
It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Dak, and I'm just gonna sort of gesture at the others to introduce themselves and stop being rude.
I'm Brick. I didn't know Fabius for long, but he was a good man, and he did the right thing in the end.
I'm Jordan. Known Fabius probably one of the longest. Good man.
And how about you, dear sir? She turns to Womble.
I am Wombo, and I can do handstands. And he does a handstand.
Yeah, you probably won't get much out of him. I don't even think he knows how old he is, let alone.
I do. I am exactly. And he holds up his little finger on his right hand. I'm as old as this.
That means I'm older than you are.
And he points at his teeth. But I'm a bit older than these.
That was a very impressive cartwheel for a man your age, Mr. Womble.
And Womble whispers at Dak, "Do I do fireball now?
No.
Do I blow her up?"
No, she seems okay.
And he comes up to this new person, and he peers right into her face. "Hello."
Hello again.
So you see, very interesting.
What do you mean?
Ah, and he touches his nose. That's for me to know. And he goes to Dak. It's called being mysterious.
I know, you've mastered it.
I know.
I don't even think you know what you're doing half the time.
I can do fireball.
Yeah, don't do that now.
And and there's a flame sitting in his palm. No,
Again, I reach over and lick my fingers and just go to put it out.
oh,
Yeah, it's no. Now is just talking time. Blowing up stuff time comes later.
oh, okay. And Bazir comes in. A knight in shining armor.
Oh my goodness! Do you know who that is?
Hey, Baz.
You know Sir Bazir of Draconia?
Yeah.
Wow.
We have been.
You-
Bazir comes up to you. We have been asked to go back to the Cloud Top district. Arcanist Allura wishes to talk to us with the
Okay.
Council of Taldori.
But first, Baz, there's something you should probably know. You
What's
should
Fabius?
probably sit down.
And Baz makes a perception roll to look for for Fabius, and rolls a
Right.
1.
Good luck with that. You wouldn't see me anyway.
Where's Fabius? Where's Fabius? Is he hiding?
No, Baz, sit down.
Okay, and he takes a seat. Milady, and he nods his head to the cleric sitting there.
So yeah, Baz, this morning, Fabius was summoned to the Raven Queen's temple. Unfortunately, his son had been all but killed, and Fabius was made an offer to save his son in exchange for his own life, and he took it. So Fabius is gone.
Well, when will he be back?
He's not coming back.
Oh, what, he's left?
No, he's
In a way, Baz.
sleeping
way.
the long sleep. He's
What? What's Baz's intelligence?
8.
8. What? So Baz gets up and he starts climbing the stairs to go to the to the bedroom.
oh boy. Womble, do you want to try this one?
And Womble jumps up and goes after him.
I'll follow Womble as well.
And Womble goes, Baz.
God,
I can do fireball. And there's a little flame in his hand. Oh no, not fireball. He looks back at Dak. Fireball?
No. Talking. And I'm just gonna do that, like the hand symbol for talking.
Talking. Yes. Oh, Fabius died. And he goes downstairs and sits down again.
I just shake my head and I try and explain to him in great detail, saying, Fabius did the one. I mean, I'm in complete shock that Wobble's been so stupid and just gone like that. And I'm just absolutely disgusted with him at this stage. But I turn back to Vizier and say to him, Fabius done
good.
the one thing that any father would do for their son, their daughter, their child. He gave his life in exchange for theirs to keep them alive, as no father, no parent should ever bury their own child.
And you lead Sir Bazir back down the steps again to the table, and he sits down heavily on the chair. So, what? Fabius is dead.
Yeah, Baz.
Oh.
Yeah. But, it was probably in the best way possible.
I don't know your friend very well, but he chose to go willingly. And I think we can all take some solace in that.
Oh. Marshal, ale, please. And Marshal brings along a tankard of ale. And Bazir picks it up by a pitcher of ale, picks it up with the handle, and he just drinks the whole lot down.
Yeah.
And he belches, and flecks of snow and ice come out of his mouth as he belches. I am a paladin of Bahamut. But, sometimes I can't see these. And he just, random words come out of his mouth. And he doesn't quite know how to take it. I could not see. I thought Fabius would be the one who would out-survive us all.
Yeah, he certainly had that way about him, didn't he?
Ale for everybody.
You know what? Maybe I'll have an ale this one time as well.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
And he picks ale. And Gladys comes over now. And she looks slightly suspiciously at, is it Lily?
It's Lily, yeah.
Yeah, at Lily.
Good evening.
Elsborn. So, hello, what's that accent? I forgot what her accent is. Hello. I can't. Sorry, I've completely lost it.
Whiskey.
Whiskey. No, whiskey. Yeah, that's what it sounded like. I said, whiskey. I've got some whiskey for you all. Whiskey. And she says, I've got some. I heard you say Fabius is dead.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, laddie. Have some ale, and I've got this special bottle of whiskey from near Kymel.
Yeah, that
And
sounds
she
good.
pours ale into each one of you, and also a shot glass of whiskey with an E. And where I come from, it's traditional for people to say something about the deceased. I will start. And she picks up a mug of ale. Fabius of Westron the eunuch. He was a great thief. And she drinks her ale in one and some of it pours down her beard. And she wipes her mouth on the back of her hand, smudging her lipstick. And now she looks to you, Jordan.
Mm.
And she gives you your tankard of ale.
I'll take it from her. Down it in one.
And she stops your hand. Say something about the deceased.
He was a good man, bit hard to see at times, and he liked his bread. But he did the right thing in the end.
Right. Okay. You can tell that she looks slightly surprised at that, and but she lets you drink your ale. Bazir picks up his ale and stands up, and he addresses the whole place. And there's no one else in here apart from you, Fabius. I've had run-ins with you about various things. We did not always agree, but you were always at my side when I needed you. You were the brother I never had. You were the friend I wanted. And you were the father I needed. To your new journey, and he quaffs his ale. Dak.
Simply, he was probably the best of us. Even somehow being dishonest, he was still being honest.
And you consume your ale. And she says, and she'll punch you, Brick. Do you wish to say anything about the deceased?
I didn't know him very well, but at the end of the day, he, in a way, stole the greatest prize, a choice of his own way to end his life, and his greater prize than that, than to save his child.
And she looks at you, Jordan. Now that's what you should say. And she drinks another ale with you all. And she bursts into tears and runs off. And Lily's sitting there with this group of men who are just out of sorts. And Baz says, isn't good timing, but we're needed in the Cloud Top district. Arcanist Alora wishes to have our attendance. And you all get up to leave. And I'm going to stop there for tonight. And I will say an ode to Fabius.
Yeah, I think a round of applause for Fabius there.
Yeah. And Mike, for that matter.
Oh, yeah, bravo to Mike.
Yeah, very well done.
I said to earlier today that there are going to be tears tonight.
Yeah, spot on.
Mm.
Well done, Mike.
I milked it. But I'm going to play Annie Lennox again, which is becoming our stable song for this.
Seems to be.
Forgive me if I'm wrong, but that song you played in the background there was that like the song for the Greyhaven song for Lord of the Rings? I could be wrong, but it is. Yeah.
And it was
very fitting.
It was, yeah. Well done, everybody. Sorry,
That's great.
It was a lot of direction, but I think it was needed.
Mm.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it was great.
Bravo.
Let's just have. There she goes. I was expecting a little bit of better wake, though.
Oh, no.
Not just bread.
Oh, DM, can I do something? When they wake up, there is an ale and bread in their bedside, and no one knows where it came from.
I just really hope that the bird that was it crow or raven?
The raven.
Was it raven? Yeah. I really hope that the one that Womble killed was not Fabius reincarnated.
I finally found peace. Oh my god, Womble, no!
And now you've died 3 times.
Yep. Got to be some sort of record.
I always said that Womble would kill me, and I was proven right. He just did it after I was already dead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
spawn killing.
Takes a whole expression of death is but just a moment in the journey.
Yeah.
Literally, Womble is literally a spawn killer.
Yeah.
I just need to point out something, though.
Mm.
Yeah, which you were absolutely right, Mike. Spot on.
Is this what I think it is, Ross? Is this what you whispered to me earlier?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Bag of holding's gone with everything in it.
Whoops.
Yeah.
See, I was sitting again. Should I loot the body? It might be a bit disrespectful. Now I just give him a pat on the shoulder, be fine.
You've got to ask yourself: would Fabius mind?
It's what he would have wanted.
Which I
Stealing his boots, it's what he would have wanted.
I can actually tell you, he would be very proud of Jordan and Dak if they decided to steal his clothes when he was dead. But alas, your morals got in the way, and that is your downfall.
Yeah. Yeah. Never mind.
I mean, to be fair, I didn't even know he had anything valuable on him. So when Ross sent me the message, I was like, "Oh, I didn't realise you had anything useful."
Well, that's
carrying.
the reason I sent to you, because you had already sent your things. It was safe to send it at that point.
Oh yeah, but to be fair, I wouldn't have done anything anyway because I don't really know what you'd had. But that's good.
He's got all the money for the group, and the bag of holding, and all the scrolls.
Wow.
Actually, no, I think Womble's got his own scrolls, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Womble's got some. But yeah.
You're lucky I distributed the potions of healing.
Yeah.
Ah, yeah. Mm.
Yeah, you've also now lost. Let's see, the gloves of thievery,
Mm-hmm.
the brooch of shielding,
Yep.
the bag of holding,
Yeah.
the clockwork amulet, which I will admit never got used.
Mm.
For what?
It's a clockwork amulet. It allows you to forgo a roll and just put a 10 down.
Oh right, okay.
So it's all right, but it really serves the purpose for if you ever have an easy check or you're going to die, because you can just
Right,
get
yeah.
one automatic save.
Yeah.
Alas, I forgot about that and thus died.
And how many times have I reminded you?
More than I deserve.
Okay. Well, that was a very emotional one. I've been thinking about how to do that for a little while. When Fabius said he wanted to pull out.
It was fantastically well done.
Yeah, it was.
It was quite hard actually.
Yeah, you did so well with that.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I'd have been a mess if I was trying to do what you just did.
It was quite hard. It's that's all part of it. And I hope I did Womble well.
I'd say so. I
Ben,
think
if I didn't, tough. You've got a lot of pitching up to do.
Is it bad that I couldn't really tell the difference? You're that good at playing him now.
So that was interesting. So,
yeah, bloody well done.
So you have somebody new with you.
You've got some new blood.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a different, interesting party now because there's only 2 original members left.
Oh shit! Yeah, I hadn't thought
No,
of that.
Two original members left.
Who are the 2 original?
You and Dak.
Because
Dak
Womble we
original?
found.
Oh no, because Dak.
Oh no, Jordan. Yes, Jordan. You are the original member.
Yeah.
I am the founder.
I forgot about the first Goliath. I completely forgot that he.
To be fair, it was very, very short-lived because I was.
Yeah, Connor, for reference, Dak's first life, he quite literally died in the first session.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
It was a right shit show. It was hilarious.
Because we decided, you know what, we're surrounded by bandits and thieves. Let's go camping.
The funny thing is, though, I actually would have been the last to die, and I saved everyone else and then snuffed it.
Yep.
That's great. Oh, is this the one where you get? So you jumped? Was it that you jumped off the cart to like hold off all these like hundreds?
No.
No,
So
that
we were down in the sewer and we didn't have a clue what we were doing, and we were surrounded by enemies but didn't realise it at the time. So we all went to bed, and I think it was either my watch or I had noticed and no one else had. And by the time I'd woken everyone up, we'd already been like completely slaughtered, pretty much.
Oh my god!
So I healed everyone as best I could so that we could make our escape, and then I got downed.
Remind me, what was the name of your first character? Because I've completely forgotten.
It was Powin.
Powin, that's it.
Yeah.
I hardly knew you.
Yeah.
Powin, I hardly knew you. You're singing choirs with men in heaven.
Yeah. But I did really enjoy playing a druid, which is why I did Dak, because I was like, I need to do more of that class.
Oh, druids are great.
I'm really enjoying it.
Would you have? Were you sort of dead set on Moon Druid, or were you considering?
I hadn't really settled on a circle, to be honest, and it was only sort of for the backstory I wanted and the way I wanted to play it just sort of made sense. So yeah, but I think it's great. It's easily my favourite class I've played so far.
I was about to say, I like Dak's backstory about him living with the repressed memories of almost being eaten and seeing his family be eaten in front of him.
Yeah, it's his backstory is perhaps a little dark, but it's
and whose isn't?
Yeah.
you need a bit of darkness. Normal people don't become adventurers.
Yeah, exactly.
It's true.
Exactly.
Well, apart from
perhaps one day
probably.
we'll have a 10th level fighter who's actually a plumber.
Woohoo!
I can fix your plumbing. I can kill the orcs at the same time.
Hey Mario.
No, we need to
Exactly.
try and find some names very close to Mario and Luigi, but we just
Yeah.
Hey Marino.
Manuel.
Ben had a sort of a chap who liked. He had a plumbing tube or something, didn't he?
Oh God!
Smoke out of in Cthulhu.
Cthulhu.
Never quite got to the bottom of that, but
Oh, it's funny though.
I always like to think that plumber came after the one who mucked up his house and flooded his apartment. I remember that. Can you come to D&D tonight? No, I can't. Why? Because there's quite literally a pipe spraying water across my bedroom.
It's a pretty good reason.
cool. Okay, well, we'll get on with more waffling, and as Connor said, is that going to be 4 weeks or 4 weeks? It's going to be 4 weeks and 4 weeks by the sound of things.
Yep, and that is fine.
There we
Yep.
go.
Cool. Just a quick DM question. It's my understanding, is that 4 weeks going to take place after we speak with the gentleman at the Arcana?
Yeah. But we will need Womble back.
Yeah.
To do stuff. Cool. Well, there you go, guys. So Connor, it's not normally quite as roller coasterous as this.
Oh, that's fine.
Normally it's a bit more sort of we just sort of we go camping and I terrorise them with squirrels or something.
To be fair, you know, I avoided getting assaulted by a bearded female dwarf.
Narrowly.
And Ross's character's gone and killed himself, so,
I
you know, it's all good.
can't believe Womble did counter spell on her charm. That was very disappointing of him.
Yeah.
Can anyone see that?
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, there we go. That's the character portrait I found.
Oh, very
Nice. Oh, God, you remind me. I need to sort mine out because it's still like the wrong colour and everything. I can't.
It's a brick.
No. In the actual bio, I've put in the bio.
Oh, right.
Like, on the actual character.
I thought you meant the brick was the wrong colour.
Yeah,
Oh,
that is not.
Is it the right brown? Ah!
It's got to have 2 holes, not what, 3?
Yeah, exactly.
Is it cinder or breeze?
Yeah, exactly.
I just thought it'd be perfect. Have that? No, but I didn't like rush over it. I mentioned it ages ago, I think, and I must have subconsciously remembered it. But I went on that Hero Forge thing and sort of started designing the characters. Because it's a good way of sort of building a foundation of what you want them to look like.
Yeah.
So I've borrowed with pride a screenshot from that and put that in as a character. But he's more sort of brown skin. I couldn't get them. I need to figure out how texture and stuff work now. I want to get like a grey skin, but yeah. Depends if he lives, to be fair. I'm going to wait until after Christmas. And if
Well, I
if
did
Rick has
give you
been
your
murdered,
token is a pugilist half
Yes.
with grey skin,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's perfectly fine by me.
which I thought was actually quite appropriate.
We'll have to have a conversation at some point about where the name Brick come from, because it's...
Well, I suppose that if we got the 4 week period, this is a prime opportunity to get to know the new characters and
Yeah.
get the new characters to
Yeah,
know the
well,
existing
exactly.
ones.
Exactly.
There is the backstory for Brick and the Brick in general. You will find out, and it is. I guess I obviously didn't realise this was like a different universe, but I guess we can kind of mention it in there somewhere. But essentially, something that happened on a previous session when I was playing on a one-off character with Ross and Mike.
Oh, that's a good point. Technically, guys, Connor predates you in the party.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
Because he
but you know.
Yeah, so there you go, Connor. You get the pride of being the old blood in the party.
The founding Brick.
Well,
Also known as a foundation.
Yes.
Me and Mike hold the what's the word, title of oldest people in the group now. In terms of time.
No, you were there before I was.
Yeah, but you joined like a session afterwards.
My first encounter with the group was you save Ali and then you just ran away.
Yeah. So quite literally, I'm the only one left. That's the
That must be a fair few years ago, because I'm coming up for having played for 2 years already.
So
Yeah.
I first joined in the taster session that Ollie ran many years ago, and I've been coming almost every Tuesday now for 3 years.
Can't get rid of
Yeah.
it.
Oh, I love that. This makes my Tuesday night.
Oh, it
every
does
week.
for me as well. I don't think I've actually missed a session, to be honest.
And I'm so into it that I do it twice a week, because once a week I get punishment inflicted on me, and on the other day I inflict punishment on
You
others.
just take everything that I've done and just turn it round and just
I mean,
destroy your players.
I would be lying if I said I don't go in session and go, that's a really fun thing. I'm totally going to steal that.
It's called borrowing with pride.
I like to call
Plagiarism is such an ugly word.
I call it DJing. I take the source sample, but I remix it in my own way.
Yeah.
How are you playing with the other group at the moment, online as well?
So we were playing in person up until last week. Now, big thanks to Mike very kindly offering to share some of the stuff with me. We're going to try and migrate it online.
Nice.
So at the moment, I've got a sort of co-DM spot with my friend Chris,
Cool.
where I'm sort of running a mini campaign inside his campaign because he wanted a break.
Sure.
So I am punishing them in a fun desert adventure, which is basically I watched The Mummy Returns and said I can make a fun campaign out of that.
Awesome. Very cool.
Because I love the Brendan Fraser mummy films, so and I love sort of not Egypt settings.
Yes.
So, for example, one of the fun things I've got lined up, and if you guys are listening, I'm just going to double the XP. Sorry, double the difficulty class and all the saves. But ever since Mike threw the intellect devours at us, I'm going to have a couple of them hiding in canopic jars.
Nice.
Oh,
That'd be awesome.
They're going to get into the room with all the is it desiccated bodies where they have all the moisture taken out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, it's going to have all the canopic jars on the outside.
Oh, that'd be cool.
And some of them have treasure, and some of them have like a heart made of pure gold.
Ah.
The one with the brain.
Yeah. Oh, so it's like Russian roulette with canopic jars.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like this entire temple has been sort of a fun mixture of Tomb of Annihilation and other things, because Tomb of Annihilation is a great example of how to have a really challenging dungeon, in my opinion.
Yeah. That was hard.
Not as brutal, because although I can kill their characters, it's not particularly fun to try and insert a new character halfway through.
Yeah, you got to find a reason why they're already in a dungeon trying to kill you.
I've got one which is basically they were there already for treasure hunting adventure reasons, but they got stuck in a stasis room.
Ah, okay, that's
So-
cool.
Ross, I'll tell you what, mate. All this not Egypt and stuff. It's I'm getting their feelings of that. You're sending them to the Shadow Realm. If you get my drift.
Yeah, yeah,
Kill them all anyway.
I'm going to summon Exodia.
yeah, exactly.
Anyway, I'm gonna switch. I need to go and get something to eat. Okay?
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Right, so,
Yes,
bravo, mate.
very well done.
Oh, you're
Hold
going to do
on,
that to
hold
your
on.
players now, aren't you?
Oh, they wish they had characters as depressing as that.
I didn't think I was depressing. It was. I thought that
I
was
thought that was a very heartfelt moment.
Yeah, it was.
very honourable, and it's the thing about Alexis sort of still having a go at you, and then suddenly realising that actually you're no longer there to have a go at.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you
Yes,
can't
well
take
done.
you can't take people for granted because they might not always be there.
Absolutely.
Isn't that the truth?
Well, boss, I did say that I want there to be tears. I
Yeah.
heard a little bit of snuffling there. I had to go and get a beer because I was thinking, okay, I can't keep doing
Yeah,
this.
I was like really struggling because I'm a big softie anyway.
And Connor was going. The brick was going. What? What do I hit in here?
Yeah, I know, right?
Is it bad that I was kind of thinking, oh my god, is one of them going to try and disrupt this?
Yeah,
They
it
could
crossed
have
my
done.
mind. It crossed my mind.
Yeah.
And Ross, you came in so on cue as well. Thank you very much with Lily.
Oh, perfect. I was trying to find the right moment to jump in.
Yeah,
No, it was seamless. It was really well done.
it was
It's almost like you planned it.
actually Ross hadn't a clue.
Yeah,
She hadn't
it was-
a clue.
I think, yeah, you did very well there, Ross, as well, on both parts, Fabius and Lily's. So you did very well as well.
I say, well, it might be a bit of a weird jump, especially it's going to be a bit weird for you guys. It's going to be weird as hell for Ben next week because I'm not going to be anywhere near as sarcastic and cynical as I normally am.
And you got nobody with a passive perception of 19.
No.
Yes.
No, it's only 18 now.
Really?
Disappointment in your voice.
However, the stealth at the window.
Good.
Yeah, well, that's
good.
what we got passed without a trace for.
Yeah. And you've got Jordan there, who will become your
Sneaky.
Your sneaky.
Oh, I do have a +6 in stealth.
Yeah, well, we're going to need that.
Yeah.
Good.
Plus
So
my
you-
alert
So
feature.
to do what Dev used to do when we used to send him in. Look, is there a trap in the room? I don't know. Send him in.
Set it off. Yep, there was a trap.
So basically, if you imagine an old Tom and Jerry cartoon with a room full of mouse traps, we used to send Dev in and he used to come out covered in mouse traps.
It's like, yeah, there's a trap in there.
Just throw himself into the room.
Have you ever seen the movie Mousetrap, where they do the whole room, floor everywhere, and they're right in the middle, and they just have this wave of mousetraps going
That
towards
snapping sound, yeah.
Yes.
I was feeling more like this situation might be similar to if you've ever watched Jackass, where he has to crawl across all the mousetraps.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe
much
that's
it.
kind of how that goes. He's crawling across
Yeah.
screaming. And it's like,
On-
there's traps in there.
Yeah, pretty
But then
much.
The best moment about that was it was obvious. Like he was walking across a floor which he could see the pressure plates, and Ben's just like, "I'm gonna go across anyway. What's gonna happen?"
Well,
That's when he got eaten by scarabs.
yeah,
wasn't
he
it?
did.
I'm
And
gonna
then
just
Ali
jump on the
nearly
pressure
did as
plate.
well.
What?
Oh god, I remember that. I remember we were all panicking, not because Dev was gonna die, but because Prince Ali was gonna die.
Yeah,
We all teamed up to try and yank him out.
so funny.
Oh god.
I remember
Yeah,
that.
I just got to jump on there. I'll press that button.
Yeah.
No.
To be fair, we were kind of screwed in that campaign anyway, because like most of us had been possessed by that point.
Well, hey, I'll tell you what. The greatest disappointment was I never got to have fun with the possession, because you know what the one I got did?
No.
It raised my strength score to 23.
Oh
Nice.
Jesus Christ!
Oh,
So
God, stronger than me.
that turned my athletics modifier into a plus 11.
Oh, my God.
I never would have hit anything with my sword again. I would have just been pile driving and suplexing people. I would have adopted the full wrestler.
Oh.
I would have even asked to borrow the animal mask, and I'd go full lucha libre.
I think people would tend to be possessed by things which were quite suitable for their characters, really, wouldn't they?
Yeah, it worked quite well.
The perpetually you go in first, Prince Ali getting possessed by the spirit, just goes, "Oh, you shouldn't take any risks."
Yeah, the coward.
Yeah.
Which slowed it down even more.
Yeah, but
No, I've got to do detect magic, a ritual detect magic, and by the time it's halfway through it, you'd all gone in there anyway.
Yeah. So then it was just a case of right, well, cucumber sandwiches then, while everyone gets themselves back together again.
disintegrating Dev.
Oh, yeah.
Dev gets disintegrated. It's still the best chapter.
Oh, so funny.
Oh, that's when I didn't tell him what I was going to do. This poor guy who's playing our rogue. Ali never told anybody what he was doing. He just says, "Right, I will get you. You can scout out. I'll help you scout." And so he went up to him and he just cast fog cloud. No, not fog cloud.
It's invisibility or something, wasn't it?
It was something that turned him into a cloud, so he could
A
float
cloud,
around.
yeah. And we all thought he disintegrated him.
And they all thought that Ali had just disintegrated him. But they
So
were
funny.
him.
So funny.
Because I never actually said anything. I never actually said with my spells what the spell was.
Yeah.
I just said, I'm doing this. This is
Ali
what
very
happens.
much had an attitude of, I know what I'm doing, I'm going to be right, so I'm just going to do it anyway.
Well, I mean, you say that he did wrestle with 54 frost giants.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, I'm going to go and get something to eat.
Yes,
because
me too,
the others
me
are bored of us talking about Prince Ali and all that lot, and
Oh,
Dev and
no,
Bardry.
No one ever gets bored of talking about Prince Ali.
No, it's too much fun.
He even exists in this universe. He's just operating one layer down from what most of us can see.
Absolutely. He's slightly out of phase.
Yes.
Perhaps every once in a while I'll say, you can smell cucumber sandwiches. Don't quite know where it comes from.
I think you should do him like Waldo, where he's surreptitiously placed in every map, and we get inspiration if we find him.
It's like Stan Lee in a Marvel film.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Right, I'm going to switch this off so I
Yep.
can go and get something to eat and make sure we've recorded that. I don't know if Davey's going to be listening to all our shenanigans still.
I hope so.
I hope he is. I hope every Tuesday evening he waits for the email to go out.
I think he does actually, but there we go. Let's end that. Okay, so I'll say good night, everybody.
Yes. Good
All
night.
right,
all.
and I'll
Bye.
see you next
Bye.
Tuesday. Is
See
it
you later,
Tuesday
guys.
yet?
Fun. Bye.